Should be able to see me in there, so the red, orange, and yellow guy. So with, we're looking for cold spots on here. We're looking for blue and black to take shape or to start moving on its own. So that's the beauty of this camera. So when I say taking shape, I want heads, shoulders, moving arms, and legs, if you guys are getting my point. So does this capture something every single night? Not necessarily, but when we do capture something, it is kind of a holy crap moment. So I will say that for sure, because again, there's definitely heat coming from off our skin. So the cool thing for your video when you get it back is there's a blue dot that's bouncing around the screen. That blue dot is there to show you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So the ambient temperature tonight is 72 degrees. I look for 15 plus degree temperature drop, so we're looking at about 57 and colder coming out of that blue dot. So that kind of gives you an idea of what I'm looking for when I'm kind of going through this specific camera. So as great as the hardware, once I give you the history of the space, again, you're in a parking lot, so congrats. Is this where you were parked earlier, by the way?
I was. I'm like, now that's right.
Okay, perfect. So we passed up your car. Everybody know where she parked? We're going to break in later. Got it? Perfect. Got it. Perfect. So, sorry, I got jokes. You guys got to lighten up a little bit. Have some fun.
Yeah.
By all means, hit those record buttons, but welcome to a parking lot. Congrats, you made it. So I told you, I'd take you to some weird spaces. The other tourists, there's nothing to see here, obviously, for them. So, first off, all of you spirit box and communication device people, this is a space where I'm going to start withholding information on purpose. I'm not going to be giving you things to look for, like what color was George Washington's white horse. You're going to get the answers from your spirit boxes and or communication device that I'm going to call the Ouija board. So you guys get the point of this. This way everybody has a genuine experience. So this way you guys have to tell me every little thing that you're hearing, so that way I can see if it actually ties in or not. I know it's some of that's going to sound silly. I'm like, it was just a DJ. I know it was just a DJ. What the hell did a DJ say? So a lot of people just don't get that concept at first. So that's why I make that joke. But anyway, where are we? We're at the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion site. Their mansion actually used to sit in the front of this space. And Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across. And we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So that's the layout of the land. Who the hell were these people? Somebody lost their car. I can see Nate's face all lit up now.
It's here.
That's what you look like in the daytime. Cool. But anyway, a lot of people, when they go back to find my picture, they're like, you don't look anything. I'm like, yeah, you saw me at night. So, but anyway. Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for secondary clues. I need to know which Charles is coming through in the event that the name Charles actually came through. You guys are getting my point, I hope. So the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics probably more than Peyton does, so we're going to move on.
Too.
So we're going to talk about Eliza, because she has a much better story anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I bring this up specifically because if you're going to ask her how old she was between the Spirit Box folks, you're not going to get numbers from the colonial times that she actually came from, like 12 and 14. Think of today's standards. What do you got? HYQ. Yeah, a whole lot of nothing. Probably have the sensitivity down too low, too. Again, there's things I'm going to have to show you about that. You're probably going to have at least 200 letters pop up out of there, just so you know, all night long.
I do have paranoia issues.
Maybe it's not a good thing I gave you that. But when you ask Eliza how old she was when she got married, again, it's not going to be 12 and 14. Think of today's standards, and the reason I bring that up is because her husband, Charles, was over double her age. So kind of a creepy age gap in the 1700s, creepy age gap now. Yes, wow, I was correct. I saw that. But anyway, she married Charles because her father was over in England, where she's from, and he thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his kids home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying. So instead, she gets married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that particular year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. She did marry him out of love. There's no foul play, no affair, nothing like that. So please don't poke the bear. This is a prominent English woman. But anyway, she was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he started sending her gifts from England to where we're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least a day. You've seen the word indigo somewhere, I can guarantee it. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. And now that we have lights on everybody, nobody's wearing it tonight. Neat. Normally I have at least one example. Amber, you failed us. You were supposed to wear jeans tonight. But anyway, that's how we use it. But when Eliza got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not hot here all the time. Then she had to learn how to make the dye. When she did that, she moves it to a cash crop, got a hold of her dad and said, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business shit of Eliza. Let's get into the crazy stuff, because that's why you guys are here. So with each set of spirit boxes, that are communication devices that are out here, I'm going to kind of give you a gist of questions to focus on. Keep in mind, don't get discouraged when you're not getting direct answers. You're asking a question, Amber can get the answer. So we never know where it's actually going to fall. Your TV shows and movies love to put up one spirit box at a time and hope and pray that they're going to answer through that. We have 3 video cameras, my voice recorder, 3 spirit boxes, and a Ouija board. It's going to come out somewhere. So that's just kind of how it works. If they're going to answer, we just don't know where it's going to come out. So when we do spread out in this location, we're going to stay away from vehicles, especially those with cameras, and we definitely don't go in between or in front of cars. Kind of limits our space tonight, but it looks like we're going to have one more car leaving, so we should open up a little bit. All right, so let's go with, let's see, where do we want to start? We'll start with yours, Nicole. So I'm going to go right to left tonight. With your particular... I just want to make sure it's spinning. You're not spinning. What'd you do? You broke it already.
I broke it. I just touched this is the volume right here.
Yeah, you should be hearing it rotate. Do you hear the stations moving?
I do.
Okay, that's what you want. Just happened to notice you had 87.5, which is the start of the FM radio stations. But anyway, your questions, or your focus questions, are going to be Eliza's death questions. By the way, feel free to cherry pick off of anything else that I give. If you're going to go rogue, just make sure it's not a yes/no question, and it's something we can prove. If you're going to ask anything about the slaves, I can't prove any of that. Trust me, I've dug and dug and dug. Eliza's death, how old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So those are questions we commonly get the answers to. Those are going to be your focal questions once we kind of get moving around. Next spirit box, that's going to be Amber. So your spirit box, we're going to go with the children on this one, just because you're a mom. So we're going to kind of go with that. I'm also going to ask you to please tread lightly. I don't always hand out this set of questions because this is where things can get temperamental with Eliza. We'll talk more about that before we leave. But 2 questions and 2 questions alone. How many children did she have? What were their names? That's it. There's a tragedy among those kids. If you start poking the bear, all activity stops. Matthew, have you seen anything come up there yet?
The highest was when we were walking under the power lines. It was like 7.3.
Okay. So when we're on sidewalks, our parking meters actually have electrical lines underneath the sidewalk, so it's going to make it go off. So you can ignore it. It's usually when we're in spaces like this where I'm like, we're good. There's no electrical anything in here. Trust me. Tested it hundreds of times. So just don't poke the bear on that, Amber. And if you do, we're all going to know because we're not going to have anything else going on. So Nate, with yours, we're going to be looking for Eliza's initials. So again, I'm going to keep you and Matthew behind to explain your devices a little bit further. But Eliza's initials, the odd thing about that is that there's 2 different Elizas that we're kind of talking about here. Charles married 2 women, both named Eliza, back to back. First one dies in January, then he marries the one we just talked about 5 months later. Kind of a jerk move. But both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. So we have gotten ELP on that thing in that specific order because those are her initials. We just don't know which one it belongs to. There is another type of spirit box communication piece that we're not using tonight that will normally tell us which one it is, but lately it's definitely been the second one, which I still haven't told you guys what that is yet. So Sarah, with your spirit box, yours is going to be nice and simple as well. The mansion's not here anymore unless you can see it, because I can't. So you can ask what happened to it, and if you get the what, we normally get 2 or 3 numbers of the when for the date. So again, we've had all 3 numbers for the date show up along with what the tragedy was. I'm obviously giving you some type of clue of what actually occurred to it. So kind of keep that in mind. You may or may not get answers from anybody else's questions as well. I'm giving those simple questions to this one specifically because it's usually only going to give you 1 to 2 syllables at a time that you can fully understand because it's going to be in small bursts. So Nate and Matthew are going to stay behind with me. Everybody else is going to spread about. If you have a spirit box with earbuds, by all means share that earbud with somebody else that you came with so that way they can actually listen in with you. Some people aren't very good at this. It's okay. You've never done this before. Yeah, exactly. So, and that's why we always have at least 1 recording. So everybody else, let's spread out. Nate and Matthew, stay back here with me and I'll kind of show you guys how to work those devices a little bit further.
I believe in the first one.
You're going to hear a bunch of different radio stations, but something is going to mean something that they say for a reason. We're asking what the age. What else? Could be more.
So do we just have to say it out loud?
Yeah, I just heard one, but
What?
we're asking what her age is, how she died. people. Did you see anything cold or moving?
I mean, it's 60 over there, but all over there.
Yeah, but it needs to be a face or take a form of a shape, a human.
Do we ask it out loud how old they are?
I don't know. He asked a lot of questions, but I'm not sure. Should go ask them.
Yeah.
Number one. I keep hearing number one, so number one. Say 104. Nothing. Black. Defiable. Are you stopping? Just died in your arms tonight. That's the song.
I'm not hearing anything.
You don't hear anything?
And I'm not hearing any voices.
It's going to be words that... It's definitely a one. Came out several times, but...
I think we're supposed to ask them what their age is.
What is Eliza's age?
What the?
I'm not sure.
Huh?
How she died. How did she die? How did Eliza die?
How did Eliza die? I don't know.
What kind of sky?
I'm not.
And you can ask them.
Go ahead.
So, do we actually ask the questions as we're going?
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Or
So if
how
you
does
just want
it,
to,
like,
you just want
we
to
just
focus on it,
listen in
listen
our head?
in, whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay.
So some
oh,
people.
Shoot, I just hit the wrong button. Did I just turn it off?
Yep, it's okay. I gotta set it back up
Alright.
again. Yeah, it's the.
So, okay, so
Like, I can guarantee you right now, like Caitlin's probably gonna be asking things out loud because she's comfortable with it.
okay, well, I just didn't know what worked better, like, because since I've never done it, like, if that's a good way to do it, or if you're doing
There's
it
no
in your
right
head.
or wrong way to do it.
Okay, so either way works.
So,
'Cause
and
she
like
was asking
we were
me, and
talking
I'm
about
like, I
astral
don't
projection
know.
earlier.
Right.
You know,
right.
it's the same principle. Like, it's going to be different for everybody. Like, my process of getting that started is going to be different from your process.
Okay.
So, some people get direct answers. Some people just listen. Like, they're thinking about, like, maybe what happens at the mansion, like, hoping for an answer, and then it goes to somebody else's spirit box. You know, it happens all the time.
Okay.
I mean, as much as I'm out here, like, there's different things that I see. I see a lot of people that are comfortable like them, where they're going to be talking to people they can't see.
Right.
Versus other people that have never done this and are a little hesitant to, like, let me just focus on the breath and see what works.
Right.
Kind of see what happens. So, hey, there's no right or wrong. Do what's comfortable for you. Have fun with it. That's the point.
Yeah. Oh, no,
Abraham. That's a weird name.
I kept getting one. One for sure was so big. Kept coming out one.
Why is it
Yeah,
so
that Abraham is-
cold on the
that's a weird
car?
name. For this location, it's weird. Like, if there's no title like in here. You want
It's a windshield.
yeah.
The windshield
Wind-
is
the glass is always going to be
It's
colder.
glass is always colder, yeah.
Because it's always going to take on the breeze. Now, I will tell you, like, stone is going to hang on to the sun's heat. So, and the ground in here has mud and gravel and cement. Like, it's going to look weird in all kinds of different colors because there's different materials in here. They all hang on to the heat differently.
Yeah.
You have to study all kinds of weird shit when you're doing this. So I had to
Oh,
study
yeah, I'm so
thermodynamics to really
fascinated,
getting really diverse in how this actually works. This is actually the one that I can probably skim through the quickest because I know exactly how things move around with it. So again, it's very. I've been using that one probably the longest on the tours too. Like that was one of my staples. Like when I first got started, that was it. Like it was a K2 meter, a spirit box, and that guy. That's how I started doing
Wow.
this. So, but
Can't believe I
yeah.
haven't done this sooner. So weird.
Columbia.
Columbia?
That's a city. That's our capital in South Carolina. So it's just weird that you're hearing it down here. It's in the middle of the state. Okay. All right.
So is it every? It's not every word we hear though that comes through,
So-
right? It's because I hear a lot of stuff.
If you're hearing something like, let's put it this way,
Like-
it's also a 50-50 shot. So if you hear like, go buy a Hyundai today,
Right,
obviously the word Hyundai is not going to mean anything
No.
to these people from colonial times.
Yeah.
But again, if you're hearing like weird things like Abraham,
I heard
Columbia,
black.
Okay.
There was another word after it. It was black something. It came together, but that's what. Yeah.
Names and numbers usually don't lie. Just so
Okay,
you know.
names and
Colors
numbers.
are always great too. So like you already gave me black. I don't know that has a relevance here.
There was a
Lisa.
feeling attached to it, and I can't remember the word now that it said. But
But yeah, you'll get the point. If it's a weird, odd thing that you just heard, but things like, hey, we're gonna play this next tune kind of thing, and we're not talking about a musician, it's usually omitted.
okay.
Unless, of course, somebody lost a grandfather that played piano, and that was his main thing, like his main compensation.
Okay.
Then it's relative to somebody else, just not relative to the space.
Okay.
Because, like I said, you guys bring people with you all the time.
Oh
That's
yeah, we
why-
have attachments, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So when I'm going through your data and I'm giving you all of my notes, some of those things are just weird shit that I heard on the radio. It might not be relevant. It might not be my notes of like, hey, it's relative to Eliza because of this. It might just be, this is just weird. It might be relevant to one of you. So it's just something I caught that I don't normally hear. So
Okay.
that's what I'm looking for. Just things you wouldn't normally hear.
Right. Right. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Let's
All
do
right,
that
you
more.
two. What do we got
Yeah.
going on?
I was trying to hear him, so I just wanted to.
There, that's cool.
Do we hear words that aren't? I want to go back over there. How did Eliza die? How old was she when she died?
Yeah.
What happened to you, Eliza? Bad. You remember that?
Who was Eliza exactly? She was the wife.
The wife.
Yeah.
Must have been pain. there was pain. Wife of a wife. It was scary. Obsessed with this man.
So we're trying to figure out what happened to her?
How she died.
How did you
how
die?
old. Are they leaving?
Eliza.
Oh, it's painful. Death. Oh.
Is she even here with us tonight?
We don't know.
Eliza, are you here with us tonight?
You guys heard anything else going on over there?
I mean, I don't know if it's anything of value, so.
That you know of. Remember, I'm
But-
withholding information. So
Yeah,
what have you
it
heard?
just, she was obsessed, well, I'm not saying she was, I heard obsessed with him,
Okay.
and, I don't know, I just, feel like pain. It's
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of onto something. Normally I would call it at this point, but let's do one more like quick little lap of when you guys spread out. I'll do one more round robin with everybody, and then I'll pull us all to the back and give you guys all the answers. I want to see if Matthew's device goes any higher than what he's already gotten. That's my main curiosity, to be honest with you. We've gotten some other like odd little things that you guys have heard, but I want to see if anything else is going to kind of tie and wrap things up. But yeah, let's do one more like spread out, and then I'll start pulling us to the back here in a minute.
I think we should really ask the questions and really kind of like
I am in my head, too.
really push.
I'm not pushing her. She'll talk to us. Just let her be. Just let her tell us her own way. How is she?
I remember one. Were y'all over here?
Yeah.
Okay. There's
What?
some energy over there too. If y'all
there?
wanted to go over there,
Okay.
you can feel
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's...
Thank you.
Those people. Gotta come.
Eliza.
You want the truth. Her truth, right? Get the truth. Yeah, we want the truth of what happened. Ooh, I just got goosebumps.
Why?
Just do I feel people. Things. Ooh, I definitely got goosebumps everywhere.
Eliza,
Yeah.
are you with us?
My, talk to us about it. What happened? Very strong energy. Ooh. I feel strong. I can't stay over here. I don't think. It's like make me cry.
I don't feel anything.
I'm telling you, I'm empathic. So I can like feel. Oh.
Y'all looking for ghosts?
What?
Are y'all looking for ghosts?
Oh, it's we're on a tour.
A ghost tour?
Yes.
Oh, how cute. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. I had it. Like the energy was here. God, just got interrupted. How did she die? What happened? What happened to you, Liza? Ooh, that's anger. That's
Did you hear that? She said, I'm here.
I did. I just got goosebumps.
Ooh. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Are you sure what I heard was right?
Yeah, I
she
just
said,
heard
I'm
it.
here.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm about to cry right now. Holy shit, what is wrong? Wow.
Eliza?
Amazing.
Don't go in this area anymore.
I need to go out. Wow. Oof. This is here.
That was like a really, like, that was kind of like a clear woman's voice.
That was wow, crazy. Oh my god. I just want to talk to him real quick. I just want to. They're right there. They're right in the corner. I can tell you. I just had tears. Like I can emotionally feel. Like, and maybe I am crazy, but we heard it come through. Say, "I'm here." Like
It was like a woman's voice, but I don't know if
goosebumps head to toe and tears coming. Huh?
You're not the one that's recording, though.
And tears coming down. Like I can feel. I'm over there, and I am like. I just started. Like,
Did it sound like radio?
Yeah, it came on the radio.
Okay.
Like
I'm like really close to me.
it was.
Let's get the other two ladies back
Woo!
here.
Why am I gonna be crying at this time? Like
Which
the
corner are
energy.
they?
They're right behind the dumpster. The energy though, because I'm an empath. Like I feel people. Like it's just crazy weird, but I didn't
Tears are
expect
real, though. Like, you can
like
definitely...
that. She just seems like I cannot fake cry. I don't cry that much,
You
but
can't drop tears.
wow, crazy.
This one
I could feel, what?
I said, this one could drop tears out.
Oh my god, I could not. Like at that area, if I went back over there, I bet it would come right back. Like I can feel it over there. I can feel.
Anything else major that you two heard over there?
She's here.
Ask some questions and come back with love and just to sound like whatever happened, the tragedy happened late.
She kept saying something about houses no more.
Okay. So that makes sense. You're done that.
When I first
But
walked
I
over
don't
there,
think
all
it
my hair
was
stood up and I was like I was
because
freezing.
of the tragedy. And when I asked about the tragedy, they said it was love.
So this will all make sense here shortly. So whenever we wrap up a space, I kind of break out the tablet, but I always like to kind of talk about what I'm excited about first. So most exciting thing I think that I'm excited about, obviously we have some direct emotion of they heard I'm here, and then the tears started coming, like literal emotion. Started coming through.
Like
we did get all the
That
way up
area over there makes you want to just cry, like you feel it squeezing your chest, like you just.
that one did it over there for me.
Yeah,
Like,
that
one
like over there, I felt it in my back the second I got over there.
Ugh.
But over there, it squeezed my chest, and you just felt like
Yeah,
you just wanted to
it
break
is
down.
Remember
and
which
cry.
portion of the land that you're on?
Yeah.
This is the
Slaves.
and servant quarters back
That
there.
that person over there felt like more like they were in heartbreak than the person over there did.
And and we both felt that at the same time. I mean, when I reached up and it just hurt, and when I went like this, she turned around and she said, "My heart just taken."
Interesting. Those of you with cameras, if you want to stop your cameras to give your hands a break, by all cracking jokes. Natalia thinks I'm going to boot her out the damn tour.
Oh, it's so interesting. Oh, so much.
Well, when you visit these spaces for as long as I have, you kind of get just how so that's how I was able to adjust things.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we can spread out in here, but
I didn't expect that to happen.
Expect what to happen?
What I felt over there.
I felt like after 5-10 minutes, I felt that I could just feel like.
I know. Yeah, this is definitely something that I felt.
And that's the space I was actually looking to retire. Because again, I take one out, put a new one in every year.
Yeah.
But I was getting very disrespectful for some on this, where they were like, "Come on, Mars, give us some answers," kind of thing. And that's just not really
That's not right.
So I was getting disembodied voices, not radio chatter, coming through those.
Talk different.
So when you get disembodied voices that are like, "Please just leave us alone,"
Right.
13 radio stations, you kind of have to make your peace with it.
Yes.
So I kind of have a deal, like, keep it short, and I literally stop at that location every night before I meet you guys to let her know how many people I'm bringing, just out of respect.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's a lot of time. So, if there's any vacation takers in the group, all you vacation tourists, you step over there, you'll have a core pick shot of a 97% full move next to us. She called us 30%. 97%. That's funny because we were just talking about that, me and Nicole. She still felt that I think Comanche's like, so.
I'm not trying to be in the picture.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Every once in a while.
Zoom in. Hey, at least the crosses aren't down all the way. You see that?
She just got handcuffed. She just got handcuffed.
Probably, I had 7502. No idea what that means.
What'd you get?
7502.
That's actually a good shot too. By the way, sorry, just happened to look up. 7502.
Totally random, like out of nowhere.
Welcome to the Powder magazine. Normally I take us to the back, but it looked like there was a lot of cars back there. And it just kind of keeps us out of the way because a lot of the other tours like to come up
You
here.
told me to reset it when it started saying something. I had POW.
You're recording, right?
What?
Said
You
what?
said when we get to a new place to restart it.
POD?
I had POWD.
Can't make this stuff up, guys. I told you.
POWT. What does that mean?
7502.
Powder. That's what we're talking
What was
about.
it on handcuffs? What's weird is we're going to be talking about blindfolds later.
Wow.
Oh,
Is
that's
there a lot of cars
interesting.
back there? Because again, it's a Friday night. Other tours are going to pass through here. Yeah, let's go to the back. Just because, again, a lot of tours like to come up this way, and I just like to stay.
It is right there.
I don't have a whole lot of friends in this industry. I just stay out of their way.
What picture?
There's a moon right there.
Yep. That's a pretty view.
Oh, over here. Oh, okay.
Reset it. I think it's say powder before we
Alright, so this is kind of a crazy walk of the story. Definitely get those cameras running. Looks like Peyton's already on it. Love how she's filming every person that walks by. Awesome. So,
Got into it, yeah.
I know, she's all about it. She's like, there's people walking, there's ghosts following us.
Super excited now.
So we are here for that little building, which is part of the reason why I started to take us over there. But again, I tell you a little bit of a different history of it. So that's the Gunpowder magazine. We've already had POWD. I'm stoked that Nate actually had something, and he's a little shocked. Like, oh shit, I screwed it up.
He's a believer now.
He might be. Well, he might be.
Might be getting there.
Getting closer. So anyway, this building it's an interesting piece. First off, you need to know that those are not crosses on that building. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with earthquake bolts, you guys haven't taken tours here yet, it's basically a set of turnbuckles. It goes all the way through the roof, so if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I've already mentioned earlier, you can turn those turnbuckles and it tightens the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. So it's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So the reason I bring it up is because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why is because that's the oldest government building we have here in South Carolina. It finished in 1713. So you guys are from South Carolina, so that's older than where you guys are from. And we're going to be talking about Columbia later on too, so that's going to be interesting for you. Anyway, we're here because this building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny came here to start a new life. This is what I call a familiar. For those of you that watch the TV shows and YouTubers, they use that little teddy bear gadget to attract the child ghost. It's the same principle. They use that so that way the child ghost has something familiar and playful to be able to work with. We don't have many buildings this old. This is just something Anne Bonny would recognize. So kind of keep that in mind why I said it's hit or miss. We do have other buildings somewhat close to this age, just not as old. Let's get into it. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. But anyway, the history actually begins right in the middle of it, 1708. You guys got to follow me on this one because there's a lot of twists. I will slow down on the twists. Young lady moves here from Ireland. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you guys with me so far? His girlfriend's Anne's mom. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed off was the wife that they had to leave the country by boat to come here? Just pointing that out. But anyway, they landed in Georgetown. That's just between us and Myrtle Beach, in case you're unfamiliar with South Carolina. It's about an hour north of here. Anyway, Dad bought a plantation there, and Mom died pretty quickly as soon as they got here. That means he has to send young Anne down here to be able to sell anything from the plantation to help keep things afloat, hence the familiar building. Now, Anne back home in Ireland was said to be a badass even back in Ireland. At the age of 7, 8, 9, how old is Peyton?
7.
Okay, so Peyton is 7. I want you guys to picture Peyton in this scenario. They say Anne killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly. So we have had the term servant knife belly show up on 3 different spirit boxes without the other 2 people knowing what the other person heard. So take that for what it's worth. It is a rumor, but when I get confirmation like that, it does happen. Anyway, fast forward. The building's done in 1713. Pirates are starting to come through Charlestown in 1715. Anne is stoked because she's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom just like a man. It's a man's world at this point, and she wants her freedom. So, first guy she falls in love with. I said first because there's a handful, and we're going to go through them. So that's the interesting part of the story. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going because we've already mentioned her pirate name. Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac became Anne Bonny, a famous female pirate. However, James Bonny is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. In other words, he's a coward. This is not who Anne wants, so she falls in love a few years later. This is guy number 2, John Rackham. They call him Calico Jack. This is the guy that they based your Johnny Depp character off of, just so you guys know who the hell this guy is. He has his own ship and his own crew. Anne wants to be part of the crew, but you can't put a girl on a pirate crew because it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like my crew, see, I was right. See all the stars going over there? And that's actually just one tour. See all this one group. But anyway, if you dress like a guy, look like the crew, you can be part of it, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. Most of us are adults here. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's going to be a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to know that she's a girl. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby here, come back later, and we'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby, but returns without a child. We have no idea what happened to that baby, even with all the amount of research I've done on pirates. But she also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. He captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. To make Jack even more mad, Anne's going to go flirting with that pirate crew to make him pretty ticked off. We're on guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack captured. Now we have 2 females, just like males on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure, but the British found out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to come take down one measly little pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks. Probably because they didn't know how to use cannons yet, haven't been pirates for very long. You get the point. 2 ladies with flintlocks are not going to take on a whole Navy ship fleet. You get my point. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her bow and Captain Calico Jack, and she says, "Jack, I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up here on your spirit boxes a lot. You may even get it spelled out because it's nice and short. I'll be very interested to see if that actually happens now that I brought it up, because it's never happened.
Yeah, Ben.
Ben?
B-E-N.
That's interesting. We'll see
I
if
had 406 earlier, and then separately 7.
I'm going to talk about 7 before we leave. 'Cause we're going to see what else comes up with that. The 406 is also interesting, but not.
Really?
Yeah, I was
Really random.
going through like the dates in my head, so I look at that as April 6th.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of get my point.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, the judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own after he's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. The 2 ladies go in front, reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. Judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. Still gonna hang them. They're still pirates. They scream out, "We plead our bellies," which means they're claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. They're trying to save themselves even further. He says fine. He delays the hanging, sends them both back to jail. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne. He brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary. We don't really know. And she has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Now, Mary Reed, I know, and that's a very abrupt ending for Mary, or for Anne, because we don't know much about her after her pirate career. Mary Reed died 5 months later in April. That's why I was looking at that 406 that she just said. And it was April 21st, if I'm not mistaken. So she died then from whatever pirates died from in Jamaica jail. Most books will tell you that it was something simple like fever. I'm going to say bullshit. Let's call it scurvy. It's romantic, right? We're talking pirates. So let's really liven it up. So you guys know how to ask questions by now. I'm not going to assign questions, but I'll kind of throw out a few things that I left out on purpose. So I left out, I'll give you an easy one at first. Anne Bonny's hair color. It is red, so you can ask about that. We do get that here often. The city that she grew up in Ireland. So I didn't mention that city specifically. It has been coming up more and more. I also left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents. Called them the father and the mistress. I do know the names. Let's see if we can find them. Last but not least, Calico Jack's ship. So I left that out on purpose. If you want to ask what the ship name was, we'll see how that actually turns out. Anything else you want to ask? This is not a prominent English woman like we were dealing with Eliza Pinckney. Poke the bear a little bit here. Stay out of the way of the other tours, the vehicles, you guys get the point, but we're going to stay within this lot. EMF detection. So Matthew, on your end, this is not the Pinckney Mansion site where we're going to get even 7 to a 40, anywhere in between there. If you get anything on this back half, I'm going to be super stoked. On the front half, you're getting closer to 2 electrical poles and parking meters on the other side of the bushes. So again, you're probably going to see little spikes between like 2 and 5. I'm going to debunk those right off the top. It's usually this back half where we get excited about anything. The Ouija board is interesting in here. We're going to see what happens with that. I'm going to see if the word dog actually shows up. But everybody else, you guys got the gist of how to use your devices. But yeah, let's just stand out of the way of the other tourists, because they'll look at you like you're a bunch of weirdos. And I don't need the other tourists going, "What's Nick doing? What you doing now?" kind of stuff. Because that does that. You can smoke. You can smoke anywhere in there. Yeah, you're all good.
I was about to say, I'm going to go over there, I think.
Well, I have to record you. You started around this time.
If anyone is out here and they want to show themselves, go right ahead. I'd like to know the story. So if anyone would like to come out and show themselves, be my guest. Why do I feel like crying right now? I don't know what's going on.
How's yours coming? You seen anything weird on there?
No.
I've seen your camera act up in here. So when my smaller groups, I usually use that camera, that spirit box. So the person one night, this actually happened twice, weeks apart, but somebody was filming me and the person using that spirit box, and a white film went over the person using the spirit box, and the spirit box stopped working. When we walked away from that little area of this space, I think it was actually up in that corner, it actually started working again back on record. Like, it was the weirdest shit ever. So, and then it happened again a few weeks later. White film on the camera,
In the
spirit
same
box
spot?
stopped. No, it actually happened like more towards the center. So I know for sure the first time it happened was on the opposite side, like basically right behind me in the corner. The second time was a little closer to like this area up here. But yeah, definitely weird.
I'll look out for that. It's hard. What's the girl's name again?
And name of the ship, name of the mistress.
What are we trying to ask?
Name of the ship, mistress, the other guy.
I'd have to see it probably.
In the town,
I'm a visual
in
person.
Ireland.
This is really cool though. I don't think I've seen one of these. Look, just like the record.
Yeah, I heard that.
The Amor.
The Amora.
The Amor. Something with the Amor.
Okay, can we turn this way?
Why?
Nine.
Just gonna move over, across. This way.
What?
Over here. So I'm gonna go over there. Bobby. I heard of Bobby. I want to go over there.
Yeah, we're going.
The church.
I heard that.
The church. It's a week. Oh. Yeah. What do I feel? Something. Follow the ship. Oh, I can feel it. Ooh. Wow, strong. Strong here. Ooh. Goosebumps. Goosebumps in my legs. look at my eyes. I cannot make that up.
I know, I'm starting to. No.
Strong. Farmer. Ooh. What was that first name?
Heart health.
What was that first name? Your mom? What was that first name you heard?
Bobby?
There was another name. Via
Moore?
Moore. Bobby. Ship. Yeah, right over here. It's like, holy shit, I was like, felt it. Oh, right here, like, yeah. Oof. Cold.
I didn't hear that. I didn't think it was.
I don't know music. Doctor something.
Dr. Retail? Dr. Retail?
Step. Move with me.
Bro. One day.
Shot. One day shot. One day shot. Oh. What's the name of the ship?
2-4. I heard 2-4.
Yeah, I heard that. What's the name of the ship though? What is the town in Ireland? Wesley.
Wesley?
Wesley. Is that the town in Ireland? I don't know if that's a town in Ireland.
Wesley?
Wesley. 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 Church. Again, church. Oh. Wesley, church. Really strong here. Dude, you gotta stay with me.
Dude, you're like going.
You're going like a snail.
I just
Over
switched
here is
sides.
really it's I definitely felt strong, like super energy right over here.
See,
Heard
you were
Wesley, we heard Wesley, Bobby,
Via Moore?
Via Moore, ship,
2-4.
shot once, church. We heard church like 3 times, I think church.
9-9.
Definitely, yeah, 9-9,
2-4.
2-4. Definitely got goosebumps as soon as that strong energy.
I watched
I
some
could
of those.
feel
I
like, whoa, what?
got Church 9-9, Bob 2-4.
Wesley, that what was it? The name you said?
I already see Via Moore.
Oh, you got that.
I don't know what that means. I don't know if that was anything.
There
That
was
means my love.
one shot. And we heard doctor, but I couldn't hear what was after doctor.
Doesn't matter. You got doctor and shot. Told you we are gonna get bleed over.
Oh no, I feel it. It's like right there. It was like
Yeah, and then where Philadelphia Alley is literally, it runs parallel to where we're standing. So that's why I said we would get bleed over here
Yeah.
from that piece of history.
I did hear Charleston over there.
Charleston's
It's-
I throw
I
out.
was like,
Yeah, I throw
maybe that
those
just
out.
comes out. Like,
Well, it comes out a lot because you're listening to Charleston radio stations.
okay.
So I just omit those.
Yeah, that's what I figured. That's why I didn't say it. But
Amber?
I heard in the middle twice.
Did you get
That's probably where the
away?
duel occurred. I can't prove that, but
right.
I might be getting some specific direction of where it
Ooh.
occurred. Anything else out of there? Nothing. Just weird that she got all of that and you only had the one phrase.
Well, I had the heart attack and the heart problems earlier.
Yeah, I got all.
Oh, we did have that too. Yep, we had a heart.
Health
It
issues.
was a health issues. It said health issues. There's another. There's
I don't know
so
how
much
Anne
coming
died.
in
I mean,
so fast.
First off, she was 84 in the 1700s. That's older than Eliza. That's really old. So I don't know what she died from, whether it would have been a heart attack or a heart issue. There's no record of it anywhere because we don't know exactly where she went. Yeah, that's whatever.
We got your answer.
Of what?
And shout.
What is it?
Right after we stopped talking and we were walking right here, we asked about her child.
And?
They did not die, but when we tried to ask her if she gave them away, she just stopped talking. She didn't answer.
So it's more like a real-time moment kind of thing.
Like she just
And
felt
I will
bad
tell you,
about
when
it
people
and didn't
do
want to answer.
ask about that specific child, the one in Cuba, they will get things like, she stayed, or, along those lines, things that will tell us that the child didn't die. So, to my assumption of what has been heard here in the past, you're correct. So, the child may not have died in childbirth, but may have lived, and she left the baby behind. So, I don't like to call babies it's. Like, to me, that's just rude. But she may have just left the baby behind, and so forth and so on. So, again, real-time moment, so you did get a silence when you know what I mean? So it's not like you got an answer, but you more got a reaction, if that makes sense. That's what I call a real-time moment. So let's go over to this wall a little bit further. We're going to cover these answers and tell you about our last stage. It's definitely going to be weird. It's not what we've been doing. It's going to be a lot different than this. Any readings at all, Matthew?
I'll tell you all with 3 just right here.
Like a 0.3 or up to a 3. Okay, so that was about average of what I said it was going to go to, right? Any letters coming out of your Ouija? Nothing. We did hear the word dog, so very cool on you for hearing that. Trying to explain what. Oh, the number 7. That was what I wanted to explain. We normally get double 7s over here. That's Dr. Ladd's birthday, July 7th. We get it all the time. So it just depends on how it shows up. If it shows up in doubles, it's obviously relative to Dr. Ladd, but we also have John Calhoun, our 7th Vice President, is buried on the other side of this wall, and the Powder Magazine served in 7 different wars and 1 rebellion. So we never know where it really falls until we get another piece of context. Double 7s is usually a doctor thing. So again, there's probably another 7 on there somewhere that we just missed in real time. So before I actually cover the answers, I want to tell you why I give that heated warning at the top of the tour where I say, like, if you guys get ill, just let me know. A year ago this past September, so about a year and a half ago now, I brought my group to the back like I normally do. Same size group as this, roughly 8 or 9 people. The kid next to me goes white as a ghost the minute we get over there. Like, he's fainting. Like, he's going down. And its temperature is a little bit cooler than this. So it's probably in the mid-60s. It's September. So anyway, I pick him up by his armpit so he doesn't hit his head on the ground. And his boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him. We brought him over here, sat him down, got him a bottle of water. He's feeling better. And I then told them the history that I told you about Aunt Bonnie. This used to be my last stop. I would spread everybody out after telling 2 or 3 different stories and say, go have fun. This is your last hurrah. However, these 2 guys pull me aside and say, Nick, we got to tell you, we are 2 transgender males. And 2 females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary in the story on the tour. So this is the weird shit that I see. This is why when people tell me like they're self-claimed psychics or things like that, I need to know. Like, it's a big deal. Psychics and mediums normally don't make it past the Pinky Mansion site, especially if I give them a spirit box, which is exactly why you don't have one. It's a different type of communication, so especially when it's directly in your ear, like it's confusing to them. Like, they normally don't make it. They're passing out all the time. Especially when I first started doing this, I think I had 4 instances my first year, and they don't tell me that they're a psychic until they're on the gurney going to the emergency room. So yeah, take that for what it's worth, guys. This is just the weird shit that I see that I have to take precautions on. So I can't fully explain it, but it does make sense if you really think about it. Let's get into Anne Bonnie and those answers, and then I'll tell you about our next space. So, Anne Bonnie, this is one of the few pictures of this young lady you can find with a shirt on. Point that out because we got a lot of teenage boys on the group and I don't need angry moms leaving. But the reason for that is because she used to bare her breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. So remember, she's dressed like a man, so they don't know that they were just killed by a woman. She thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, the names of her parents were William Cormack, Mary Brennan. So this was not another subliminal trick with Mary. We just happened to have 2 different Marys in the story. Mary Brennan was a servant for the Cormack family. That's a whole nother 30-minute scandal that we're not going to discuss, but because it's not relevant to more or less like what we're at and what we're doing. I also like to show you what Calico Jack looked like because everybody wants to see what they based Johnny Depp off of. So, Calico Jack, I'm sure in your research you've already seen this picture. He was named Calico Jack because of the jackets that he wore. They came from British captains that he killed. So his father was a tailor, so textiles are very important to the Rackham family. Calico Jack translates to fancy jacket. That's where the name comes from. The name of his ship is called the Kingston. I do not expect the word Kingston to come out of the 2 spirit boxes with the earbuds because it's using radio stations to be able to convey messages. The one that Sarah has actually picks up more disembodied voices than the other 2. So the word king would actually suffice coming out of the Ouija board or the 2 red spirit boxes with the earbuds. However, that's only because we have to mix our tech with what we're getting. What color is a big red barn? Blood. Same type of principle. We have to work with what we have. But I would expect the word Kingston to come out of Sarah's device. Alright, so the next space. So who has my red spirit boxes again? The 2 of you. This ought to be very interesting. So the next space we're going to, you 2 are not going to know the history of the location. You 2 are going to sit on a bench. I'm going to tell the rest of the group the rest of the history of what I do know about the space. This is my new area. And then we're going to come back and visit you, where I'm going to put blindfolds on you and noise-canceling headphones, and we're going to talk to you as if you're the ghost, and you're going to tell us what you're hearing on the spirit box. Natalia, you just woke up. Nice. Welcome to the party. Yes, this is going to be awesome. But again, this experiment is called the Estes method. If you're unfamiliar with it, it can be a little disorienting. So it's another reason why I didn't give you specifically a red spirit box. I didn't want this to go a little haywire and in the wrong direction. This is hit or miss, like I said. It can go really well, where you guys are going to give us 10 to 15 answers that are direct and things I can prove, or nothing's going to happen at all. So it is a roll of the dice. We never know what's going to happen. So that's the fun part of it. But the nice thing for you guys is you're not going to know anything.
Right.
So you're just going to tell us everything you're hearing.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk more about that once we get into that space. So we're going to go up to Washington Park. That's our non-smoking park. So for all of you smokers, get them in before we get there. It's about 2 to 2.5 blocks. She's already starting. So you got a little bit of time. You can probably hit 2 cigarettes along the way there if you're a cigarette smoker. But once we get into the park, just make sure they're distinguished. And we may see other tours there. Again, we stay out of their way. Most of the time we have the park to ourselves, which is the fun part. But yeah, let's go blindfold some people and let's have some fun with this. Have you ever seen this?
Oh, my favorite.
This Estes method before?
I've seen it done before. Not like in real life, but yeah, it's probably bigger. You're just gonna have to really hear, like, keep your earring things on.
Oh, did he?
A little bit. Yeah. Why do you think I'm sighing so much?
I heard that.
So you're feeling it.
Just a little bit.
You feel it
for
in
Nate
you.
real quick.
Huh?
I'm gonna wait for Nate real quick.
Someone was Hawaii. I don't know where to go.
You know the whole panic just ordered to go. That's actually her.
Oh, awesome. Right.
Sorry, Mom.
I must have seen this method once.
You getting anything out here? Got a little bit going on.
Oh, yeah, I think so. They like it.
Yeah. Right?
I'm already right.
Right. Right.
But I do see, like, right now, it's actually on the counter. There's something every night is different.
Oh, I know. I saw it already.
And you see, I let you guys do it.
Yeah, no, that's what I love.
I'm not
This
coming
one, I read so many different ones, and I was like, oh, really authentic and like.
Well, there's a reason why I'm a little bit further down. Like, you guys, I think you all work on it. Yeah. I guess you got it. Like, you can pay for higher spots. You kind of move up the ladder and you never run. I don't like to be on the wall. I know that when I was there, I wasn't getting as many bookings. Like, oh, this is right. But when you go when you came down as a kid?
Not that I remember.
I mean, I can't really say much. I didn't even go in the grocery store until I moved here.
Right.
So.
I've had like so crazy years. I record myself at night. So I don't remember. I'll sit up at night with like I don't wake up like I see it on video. I don't know for sure, but well, I had on video one night. You can hear a knock. Right next to me on the third floor. You can hear a knock. It's like it's crazy. I don't know, but it's absolutely so clear. In the middle of the night. It sounded like somebody was knocking.
I moved into a brand new house. Land there used to be something. And I've been there for almost 2 years now. I still haven't done like an overnight. Like I did one spirit box or spirit board session. It's always the same thing to me. I'm very nervous. So they usually get channeled in some way, and I don't remember it. But there's always some kind of tobacco involved. I know my tobacco's pretty well. So I smoke a regular tobacco pipe. I smoke cigarettes for many, many years. So I will usually talk about a cigar or the flavor of this, and I'll hit my face and say, I love a good cherry whatever cigar or whatever. Because my wife has to tell me all this shit later because I don't remember any of it.
Right.
But it's always the same thing. It's the only thing we've done in our house so far. And I don't normally bring that stuff to the tour. Obviously, I can't prove it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't bring any of those type of my extracurriculars. But I do these things that are not on the product.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll break out dowsing rods if I have a really small group and we got through some of the places were kind of duds, like we'll go quickly through the places. Just to keep the time, we'll go to the Quaker graveyard across the street too, and we'll use dowsing rods over there instead of electronics because Quakers didn't have a relief system in the afterlife, so we get much better results out of dowsing rods than we do, say, the electronics. So know your ghost. You got to really know like how to work with things. Nicole and Amber.
Not you.
Yeah. That's not good. Amber, come have a seat. Alright, so a couple of things. I'll open these up for you because they can be a little tricky. So what's going to happen here is you guys are going to sit here. We're going to go over by that monument. I'm going to give them a 5-minute history because I don't know everything about this space. When I hand you guys this equipment, don't put it on until we come back over. I don't like the other tourists to kind of see like what people make up to now, watching blindfolding people, it doesn't ever looks good.
Right.
Even when we're doing the session, we all will be very close to you, kind of hiding it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So your blindfolds, if you don't mind, I'll open her up for you because it can be a little tricky. But I'm also going to hand you noise canceling headphones that a family member is going to put on your head. So when we come back, but I definitely want you to get a feel for them to see how tight they are. So it kind of gives you an idea of what you're going to be working with. These guys are disposable. I do not want them back.
Okay.
So keep your own eye boogers.
Alright.
That's why this thing ain't working. Ain't everybody got their hand on it. You know, you got to do that on the
I
wall.
think that's the first time that joke's ever been made. I love it. Alright, so one goes to you. There's two little ear holes there, so you can kind of see it's not going to go all the way around your
Okay.
head. Yeah. Amazon. When you buy things in bulk, like earbuds and blindfolds. It's a beautiful
That's all
thing.
you need.
So I buy these by the packs of 100. Because, again, sometimes I rip them when I'm opening up freaking.
Right. Yeah, because they were, yeah.
It's very frail. But super cool and
It
relevant.
is.
So yours.
Just put it on before you guys come back.
No, I'm gonna have to give you some tips.
Oh, okay.
So, I just wanted you guys to get the gist of what
Okay.
they look like, so that way when
Alright.
you come back, you're not freaking out like, oh my god, with all this stuff throwing at me.
Okay.
Noise canceling headphones, I just set next to you guys, so you guys can get the gist of how those feel. So when I come back, we're gonna have to cover a few things because again, this can get a little disorienting. So I'm gonna give you a few tips before we put you on there, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go take the rest of this break and we're gonna go learn some quick history. All right, guys, let's head over this way.
You kind of get into a trance a little bit.
Maybe.
Start that session. I'll ask you to be on mute if you won't mind. All three cameras, when we get over there, I definitely want all three cameras on this entire session. So you can kind of pan around a little bit. Just keep in mind other tours will be passing through here, but they're going to want to see all this footage because they're not going to know the history until they get the data back. So again, you want to stay focused on the two young ladies sitting on the bench. So the first time I came here, I didn't know what we were going to find because this was, let's experiment, let's get the new space of the year. So I brought two young ladies in here, and on the spirit box, the young lady heard the year 1828 and the name Henry. I used a digital word generator. It actually gave me the name Tim. This bust is Henry Timrod, born in 1828. So I went, well, there's my ghost. So, quick history, he's a writer, and obviously he was old enough to go fight in the Civil War, being born in 1828. So he goes to fight for the Confederates. His comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So they sent him home, knowing he was a writer, and said, go be the voice of the war. They basically wanted him to come home and start writing about what was going on the battlefield, which is what he did in poetic format. So he wrote poems. He became known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. So it's a pretty big title for us writers. But anyway, he has a son as a few years go by, but you guys are going to know about the son. They're not. His name was Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve, and he died 9 months later. Very tragic. Now, a couple more years go by. He's still mourning his son, Willie. His comrade from school realizes he's not publishing as much as he was before. So he says, go out to my cottage in Columbia, and you can actually go finish working on the piece you're supposed to be working on, leave your wife Katie behind to mourn with her parents. So he goes out there and writes his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality. Then he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain. So he had tuberculosis, just so you guys can catch on to that. By the way, beholder of brief mortality translates to person with a short life. So he died at the age of 38. He landed right on that page, and that's where he died. I will tell you that that blood stain is still on that page, and it looks like a man writing at his desk. They show this page one day a year at the Charleston Library Society on Halloween only, and you have to be a member of the society to be able to see the book. But the internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you what the page looks like, and then we're going to go try to talk to Henry, through the two ladies sitting on the bench. You guys are getting the point. I'm giving you just enough so we have enough to work with. So I'm going to show you that blood stain, and then we will go and get to work. So this is the page that he coughed on.
Wow.
And you can see where it looks just like a man writing at his desk. So see where it looks like a man writing at his desk? It looks like he's writing something down. So very creepy stuff. We do call this the blood book. So the word.
That's the bloody spit out?
Yep, that's it right there. I'll blow it up for you, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, pretty nuts. Good creepy story to end with, and let's see if we can get some kind of answers going out of these two ladies on the bench. So you're going to have to help out for sure, so you know.
Okay.
I want everybody to hear some of the tips and tricks I'm going to have to give you.
Okay.
So, first thing you guys need to know
Make
is...
sure you're recording.
So Natalia and Nate, I'm going to have you guys actually help out your family members when we go to put the earmuffs on because they're going to be blindfolded already and won't be able to see everything. But a couple of things, I'm going to be keeping an eye on your breathing. In the event you start getting a little too heavy on breathing or hyperventilating, a family member is going to tap you on the knee to take the headphones off and that kind of thing. You're going to take those off yourself. If you're speaking too loud, they'll tap you on the shoulder. That means quiet it down a little bit. Just whisper. We can hear you. So a lot of people get those headphones on, they can't hear anything, and they're shouting at us. So the other piece too is it's also okay to answer yes/no questions. You have no idea what questions I'm going to be asking. If you hear yes or no, feel free to answer it. But you're not going to know the questions because you're not going to hear me. You literally have to tell us everything you're hearing in real time. Don't forget to talk. So some people put these earmuffs on and they're just like, am I supposed to remember everything for 10 minutes? No, say it out loud. We're going to have it on audio for you. The other piece too, I just had something in my head. I forgot what it was. But who has the recordable one? Amber, that's yours, right? Yeah, so I'm going to stop your recording so if I can hand that. We're going to stop it and restart it so you guys have a separate audio for just this session. And I still spot check this guy a little bit more in detail than I do the rest of the first recording. If that makes sense. Up here. Alright, so family members get ready because we're going to have I'm only going to keep you under for 10 minutes. The reason why any more than that is going to get a little disorienting. Like you'll start to sway a little bit, so it does get a little weird. Alright, so blindfolds first.
So can I tap her elbow for too
Well,
loud?
these on too.
And
Both
knee
sides.
for take the headphones off?
Put these
No,
on too,
I'm saying
right?
Shoulders some.
Blindfold first, though.
Oh, but okay.
So tap on the
And yeah,
shoulder.
we're going to get in nice and tight here, guys, so...
Make sure you're videoing.
Tap on the shoulder if they're
Look, too loud.
and then tap
And then
on
if I
the
say tap them out, it's on the knee. And then earbuds after your blindfold. Get to a comfortable volume, and do not touch your spirit box once you set your volume. You want to make sure you're not cheating. I've had teenagers try to cheat at this.
Come on, here's the other side.
Okay, once they got their earbuds in, so Nate, you're going to help her put those on top of her head. I'll take your Ouija board, or he can take it. Doesn't matter.
All right.
Put her earmuffs on for her. I'll take your camera.
Oh, she got it.
Oh, wow, she's on it. That's a first. Been doing this for over a month, and this hasn't happened where she just jumped right in. It is 11:15. Again, we're only going to go for 10 minutes. You got your volume already set?
Yeah.
Okay.
In according.
Tap her on the shoulder. It's too loud.
Good.
A little bit tighter, guys. We want to make sure. Let's go ahead and get a stand up. I want to make sure we're covering them.
Enjoy.
Keep an eye on that guy. I want to make sure things answers. Let's go to that as well. Okay, we are looking to speak to Henry Timrod. If you are here with us, we would like to hear what your occupation
Find
is.
a religion.
What is your occupation?
Being.
Henry Timrod, we need you to come through. These two young ladies on the bench can hear you. Can you tell us what your occupation is, please?
Off our wedding. Uncles outside. Pool. We got more. $1,000.
Henry, there's a lot coming through here. None of it's making sense. Waiting for that plane to go by. Henry, you did say the word religious. Can you tell us what church is nearby? I'm trying to get proof that they're actually...
Use your name.
What was the name? What's the name of the church?
Go.
Come on, Amber, give us something.
Real. Tree.
Henry Timrod, tell us the name of the church that is across the street, please. I should slow down. Henry, we're going to let you lead the way. So, do you want to talk about your family,
Hacking,
your career?
Red stripe.
Family, career, your death. Any of those things are subject.
Lonely. Stop.
We're not stopping yet. We just started, Henry.
Have a penalty. Get made. Genetics.
Williams.
What was the son's name? Anybody remember?
Willie.
It was named after Henry's father, William.
Henry.
Henry, can you tell us your occupation? You just gave us your name and your father's name.
Life is
Tap her on the shoulder for me.
under
Henry.
morning routine.
Henry, we need something
Decade.
specific.
Top.
We got your name, and I appreciate that. Can you?
Aaliyah. He called me way before.
Henry Timrod, tell us your occupation, please. Looks like you're giving more answers to Miss Amber here. She's on my right-hand side.
Freak for nights.
Can you tell us what just happened, Henry? What did we just hear?
Only
What did we just hear? What happened? You guys see how I'm using real-time moments to try to get...
from within test.
Can you tell us what that person just did, Henry, that we just heard a minute ago?
Call now. Dream. Thank 'em. Champions.
Okay, Henry, we'll get back to you.
Look at my
specifically.
garages. $199.
Henry, tell us your wife's name. Seems like you're giving us a lot of names tonight. Can you
You're
tell me-
mine.
What was your wife's name?
Support. Not in the bedroom.
5 minutes they've been under, so you guys know. 5 to go.
First place I ever feel.
Henry Timrod.
I heard 911.
You're not.
Henry Timrod, tell us your wife's name, please.
You're supposed to forget.
This is how I learn about you, Henry. You're supposed to be teaching me something.
You lost me.
Do we have somebody else here with us tonight, Henry? That's a yes-no formatted question. Is somebody else here?
You want to be with me?
Is somebody else here with you?
Recruiter, master, strike. It was affecting me in my life.
I've never had anybody give us this
trouble.
much. So do you not want me to ask about the other people that might be here? That's a yes-no question. Should I be asking about them?
One guide, one stage. Was shot at the crack.
Good job.
My friendly friends had forgotten.
Okay, so which friend do you want us to know about? Was it your college friend that invited you to his cottage? His name was Paul.
Who has lost?
What was your friend's name where you actually went out to his cottage and wrote your last words?
A lot of needles. Enemy breaking. I died suddenly.
Yes, you did. Reading's a little heavy.
Watching you.
She getting pale? Breathing was just kind of a little heavy there.
Really good topics.
Henry,
Relieved
Follow
out
you.
I know you're not going to follow me.
for you.
You're going to stay right here in Charleston where you belong. Why don't you tell us how you died? You
It's
said-
all worth it.
How did you die?
I heard no.
Repair. Impress. Sudden.
Henry, tell us how you died. You're looking for the letters TB on there, Mr. Nate.
They find us.
She said no.
Identical.
I got no.
Do you really?
Slay.
Take care of us.
Well, I'm trying to be respectful here, Henry, but you're not giving us many answers. We did.
So many times.
We got your first name. We got your father's name. I tried to get other names from you.
You stirred up more.
Yes, I'm stirring things up.
No one wants to see November 26th. 0%. 24 months.
24 months. Do you guys remember when
48.
you were born?
cost.
Big grab bag coming out of her.
Nobody's sitting.
The people that are sitting, those are the people you need to communicate through. They can hear you.
Taking this nation.
Henry, I'd really like for you to tell us how you passed away. How did you die, Henry?
Ready
His
to
top
quit.
half.
Do you
It's
want us to stop?
Z,
That's a yes, no
G
question.
and a 0. Keep saying
Do you want us to stop?
McCarthy.
You can answer yes or no. Do you want us to stop? You said ready to quit.
We shop.
Should we stop trying to communicate with you tonight?
JC. Look over.
It's been almost 9 minutes, just so you guys know.
I got mine.
Henry Timrod, one last chance. Feel free to answer any of those specific questions that I asked.
Dance one day.
About your family, your career, the names of your
The
family,
case saw.
how you died.
Case before you went away.
She's trying to keep her balance. Let's go ahead and tap her out. We'll wait for one more term from Amber.
Oh.
279.
279. Go ahead and tap her out. You feeling okay? You look like you're trying to keep your balance a little bit.
Yeah, I felt different times heart like racing. I mean, I was fine with it, but
Okay.
I felt like I could.
Well, I can see your breathing was getting real heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy feeling in the chest?
Yeah,
Or like,
yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's part of the disease of what the man had. That actually happened to a guest a few weeks ago. They came out and they're like, I can't catch my breath. I feel like I got this
Yeah,
burning
it's
in my
like
chest.
Really,
The gentleman we were trying to contact actually had tuberculosis.
Oh.
So, you, like, nonstop, holy cow. Like, I haven't seen that yet, where somebody literally was just talking and talking and talking and talking.
Well, every time I've heard stuff this much,
Mhm.
but I like can't repeat everything I've been
Right.
hearing on every session. Like
Exactly.
so much.
So, Amber, how were you feeling, by the way? Are you feeling okay?
Yeah.
Your breathing was perfectly fine. You were totally calm, which is good. You actually gave us probably the most answers. You did give us the person we're trying to contact's first name and his father's name. The ghost's name was Henry, and his father's name was William, which he named his son after, Willie. So, again, I was pretty excited about that. You gave us 24 months. Willie was born on Christmas Eve. So, we weren't asking about his birthday specifically. But again, why would we hear the number 24? So I would call this a slight success. So we did have a few answers. Let's go ahead and, you see the button next to your volume at the very top? Click that the opposite direction so it'll stop it. There you go. So now we have the full recording of what this actually occurred. So I do want Matthew and Nate to kind of take a quick lap around here, mainly in the grassy areas since we did have something going on here. We've gotten triple digits in here. So just kind of let me know what you find out of that, and we'll kind of see what we can get while I wrap up the rest of everybody else. So you can stay right here with Mom. She's like, yeah, I'm good with that. So I always like to make sure you guys are okay. Please don't get up right away, especially you because you were really kind of, yeah, we were watching. We both kind of mentioned something.
Oh.
And I even asked at one point, Natalia, like, does she look pale? And she knows you better than anybody
Yeah.
here, so we just wanted to make sure you're going to be okay. When she puts your hands down, that to me feels like you're probably feeling like you're swaying underneath there. I'm like, yeah, we got to get her out of there. Because once you start, like, leaning, and
Right.
that's when things can go a little haywire.
Yeah.
So this was an interesting one. So, again, I think this was slightly successful. Again, we don't know what we're going to find in Amber's reporting. Overall, for the entire night, I would call this about an average of what I normally see, with a slight success at the end. And again, sometimes this is a complete dud, where you're just giving me a bunch of nothing. And again, it just happens. I can't make stuff up because you're the ones that are listening. But you'll get the entire session from all the different videos, plus my voice recorder was running, so you guys will know the full history of this gentleman, plus the links of the things that you guys told us. I usually, on my way back to the office, I write down a few things that stood out. I don't do it in real time, so that way I can stay focused on, you guys get my point. But overall, I think we actually had a pretty decent night. For Friday, I'll be honest, Fridays and Saturdays are usually the worst as far as activity goes because there's so much going on around here. So Henry is actually kind of a timid ghost. Like he's a little shy. It usually takes a few minutes for him to kind of get warmed up to us. But he's been doing better with that. So I've only been doing these sessions for like 2 months. So they've been either really fun or like, oh my God, nothing happened. So it just kind of happened that way. I'm going to start packing things up. I'm going to stop your guys' audio at this point, kind of get